Can our IT department image this app? So when they create an image of a computer, like all our computers are. Okay, so they can, you can just image it and they don't have to go to each individual one.
No.
That's how we do it here.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't do one machine at a time. Go ahead.
Exactly right.
Yeah. The classroom I'm sitting in right now has got 16 student machines, and it's set up to run probably 6 or 7 different sections of different classes. And so we have to have a different image for each one of those classes.
This room is a mock of that, Greg, because obviously I started there and I continued it on here. So if you look at the system you're sitting on, see the hard drives just stuck in a bay. Literally, when students come in, they grab the hard drive for the class they're coming in. So one student might have 4 drives. And so they literally, but that's just because we teach so many different topics here. And when a student is working on, say, a cybersecurity class, we don't want them on the same drive as somebody else because we don't want them messing up each other's. Because when you're messing with the operating system, you can mess up each other's work. And so every student has their own bay. So I image those between every class for every student for every semester.
Is there a way for you to do them all at once, or do you have to do each?
Yeah, I do them all at once. For you guys, for this one, you would just do one image. Like you were mentioning, you would just say,
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I like that setup.
Oh, okay.
Because I know they have so many old computers with that, I'm just wondering if there's something.
So I put them all in here. Actually, there's a couple different ways you can do it. I have a hard machine that I can put all the drives in, put a master image in, and it shoots it out to all the drives. Or you can use, I think, Greg, you guys still use Ghost.
Okay.
And it will, as long as you have it going. Yeah, as long as you have it up and going in a server. In that situation, it's a little bit harder because you got to have a server with private IP addressing out, and you shoot them out.
Set me up like that.
Yeah.
But she's on the hard drive.
Yeah. Yes.
We were just doing which one it would be. Because I have such small classes in Rapid. How fun it would be if it's possible to collaborate with their classes and have both of us lecture on a topic, and then I thought, maybe your students would ever be interested in when they get to a point, because obviously they're getting away more than we do as a project for you. I might come into a classroom virtually and teach one of the modules that maybe are off my head.
Well, what I think is awesome is that's a great opportunity for my advanced students to jump in. I would love to talk
So you offer advanced cybersecurity all year?
It is every year I teach. A lot of my cybersecurity students have completed the networking program, and so the cybersecurity is 5 courses right now. It's a year long; they're all semester long classes, except for 2 of them. And those 2, most of my students have completed those classes before they go into the cybersecurity. So in fall, there's one cybersecurity class that is every Friday that they come in and they teach. Or I teach that. And so every Friday there's that class, and then in the spring there's 2. There's ethical hacking.
Fridays would be perfect because it would be something they would look forward to having a college, got a college student coming and teaching our class today instead of this feature.
I think that's great. Yeah.
I think it would be a great way to recruit for your program.
Yeah. Greg, I don't know if you can hear this, I'm curious if other schools have this idea, but they're talking about, well, you know what, I don't want to speak for you. Why don't you tell Greg what you were just saying that was good for you guys?
Jill and I were talking about how it might be fun to have our classes once in a while collaborate over Zoom, where we're teaching the same thing and they would kind of be working virtually with the class in a totally different part of the state and get to know each other before they go to PTA or whatever. And then I got thinking that it might be fun for Rhonda students to come in once in a while and teach one of the topics, a unit on a Friday to our classes, as also a way to kind of recruit for coming to college here. And I know they would enjoy interacting with a college student once in a while way better than me, and might inspire them to come here.
We have it. That's a great idea. I don't know the logistics of how we would do that, and I don't know how we would get the students. We'd probably have some students would volunteer to do it, and other students would probably flat out refuse to do it. And then there might be a transportation issue. I mean, if you do it virtually, that's a different
That's
thing.
that's what they're talking about, Greg. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I have a white.
But what we have done here, when it's kind of in reverse, and we're not talking about actually training in class per se, but all through the school year, they bring high school kids in to visit the college, high school day or whatever you want to call it. And what we have learned to do is we always have a recent high school graduate, i.e. another young person, do the presentation for those students because they want to hear, and we do it for recruiting, okay? They want to hear it from somebody their age. They don't want to hear it from, an older person like, hey, you need to come to this college for this. They need to hear it from somebody in their own age group. So while we haven't done exactly what you've talked about, when from a training and class perspective, I mean, that's a great idea. We may have to do something like that. That would be, especially if we can do it remote.
In my classes, I always have every student in my classes teach a lesson once a year because it's great for them. It's a public speaking opportunity for them, and it's interesting to see how they approach. I learn a lot from how they present.
Yeah.
Also, kind of what works for kids. Kind of like you said with the PowerPoints, what they create.
I think it's a great idea, and I know here
And your students would learn a lot by having to teach something.
exactly, and not only that, but present just the same skills. Our students still struggle with soft skills, if you will.
Mhm.
So that's a huge thing to teach them in their life. And so I know for us here, we can make that happen,
Right.
because
Well, and they would be teaching virtually to a class of 6.
Yeah.
So it's not like 40 kids in a class.
For those who are interested, I think that's a great idea. I think we should keep in touch and set up a time to do something like depending on when everybody's, whatever works for anybody. So what I'm thinking is I could set a date and say, hey, we'd be willing to have a student come and teach this topic at this time. If you're interested, log in. Even if you're not doing them and you just want your students to be exposed to it, just log in. I can send out a link to the instructors, you guys,
Right.
and then you could then open it up in your classroom. Yeah, something like that.
Like a virtual. I was telling Jill that we subscribed to Amazon Engineering this year, and they're doing some coding classes this fall, I guess. But you can set up a virtual tour, and they'll take kids right into the warehouse and show them all how they pack boxes and it's a system to get it's like 20 minutes from when you place an order to when they're ready to have it in a box. Right? It's just phenomenal. And what their computer systems look like. And they come right in and they're on and you get to ask them questions and it's such a great opportunity. And then I always have kids going, I work for Amazon. So as soon as that happened, I thought, we're going to have kids that want to go into cybersecurity if somebody besides me tells them how to.
I know, and that's the cool thing is I love to get exposure. I'll have employers come and talk to our students about what it's like to work for them in their careers. And so I love to expose students to that. So this is just another avenue for my students to explore. But now they're kind of they're not being extra too. They're advising.
How can you inspire? And there might be some, I'll give you extra credit if you do that, whatever, or make it part of your curriculum.
Usually that's what I'll do is I'll build in a lab with it. I'll say, you're going to do a live activity. But that's
how much do cybersecurity people make?
That is a good question. There's so many different areas. The word cybersecurity is so broad.
A lot of money.
I can only imagine. Well, Jill and I both went, maybe we should come next year.
I know. I teach here, and as teachers, we don't make what we should. So I offered positions with them as well. I love teaching. I really love teaching.
Well, I get 4 months off in the summer, so
and that's true. And I know they should use it is develop more curriculum and that kind of thing to help achieve the second year associate's degree. And so I tend to do that a lot. Yes.
As far as can you freelance? I mean,
I can, but I don't. I'll be honest, my job keeps me. Even though
that may be something though.
I know, by 4 months on this.
you guys, yeah.
So our guy uses Unity
Okay.
for programming.
Okay.
Is that
I don't do in my program here. I will start somewhere. I go to the 2-year having probably Python and Java is the two I'll offer here because that's what I'm being told.
As long as
going by the job description?
Yes.
Like Java is like basic Latin.
Yeah. The big one, the big huge hotline is everybody. And so that's a definite. I have been waiting to complete this workshop to make my final decisions on what I'm bringing. What I've done to gather, just so you guys know, for Gallatin College, what I do here to decide what I'm going to put in that program. I am a member of a group that is community colleges across the nation, and I'm constantly meeting with them and learning what they're going on across the nation. But I also have an advisory committee of local people and companies that hire our students, and I bring them in, and they have in our last IT advisory meetings, they went through a strategic skill set and they were that they have lined out what they want in the way, and I took that and mixed it with what's going on nationally, and I developed a curriculum to meet our local needs, but also based in highly, because you might live in Bozeman, Montana, what's the entrepreneur here in Bozeman, Montana? You might be promoting into work, and that happens so often.
Python is that expensive? I'm sorry.
Python?
Yeah.
No, it's just another language. So it's like you want to learn Spanish or you want to learn. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the job finish. One. So the first semester we make apps that we can put on a computer on an Android phone. He does how would it call ball break or something, you know, a paddle and Greg's spin and
Yeah.
you know.
But app building is fun. I think the class for the joy and beauty of computing. It was too fast for me. It was interesting.
Yeah.
It took me all week, and I had an app at the end of the week that would show a bird picture, play the sound, and stop when I fished. I was so proud of myself.
Yeah.
Because it took you all week. It makes you appreciate what people really do. But
Yeah. My programs that I teach here at Gallatin are more technical admin type, install, configure, run, manage, design networks. It's not so there's strict
so much as programming.
It's not the programming. But MSU offers they have now started a cybersecurity program as well, master's level even. But it's all in the programming realm of things. And so we're different, but we play nicely with each other. Like for instance, it's an ideal if to have a little of both, right? And so we play nicely. We let each other take courses so that they can have a little bit of both.
Sure. I'm in a group. It's called Youth Entrepreneurs. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's a nationwide program, and it is owned by the Coke Industries funds it. And so they're more money than God, and they give teachers money. They pay me to teach it. They give me money for my classroom. They're flying me to Nashville for a week in July. It's called Youth Entrepreneurs. It's out of Wichita, Kansas. And they're switching over to a K-12 curriculum with changing the name to Empowered, and they teach a lot of values. And I just love it. Anyway, and that's what we saw in the paper that we won that.
Yes.
That was for Youth Entrepreneurs, and they paid for the tutoring. And it was quite a deal for Refugee. They're making a movie about it. I don't know why.
But yeah, those guys, I have a nephew that works for Coke. They kind of like grassroots.
Yeah, they have a biggest restaurant.
Yeah.
But they went to Detroit 2 years ago, and we went because it's a city that's really, regenerating, and a lot of entrepreneurs. And there was a guy that teaches a little bit of computer coding, but he's getting kids right out of high school, and he is specifically training them for Google or Amazon or whatever. And he said the problem is that what they have realized is that they get these kids that are 18 years old. They're 19 when they graduate. They go to these jobs. They're making $100,000 a year, and they get a drug problem. Here they have a drug problem and a drinking problem because it's so much money for someone that is so immature. They don't have a family to take care of. It's, the first time away from home, that college freshman, you can imagine them with $100,000. They move back. They said, so now they've incorporated this whole curriculum into this computer programming on life skills and personal finance, and then it just has to, the whole entrepreneurial mindset has to go with these high-paying jobs and healthy living, which is one of the reasons I loved this entrepreneurship group that we're in. And it's free. The curriculum is free. The class is free, and they pay you to do it. And it's so it's something you said. It's called. If you're interested, give me your email, and we're trying to sign teachers up. They're switching over to. It's called Empower. And Jim Master actually is the guy from Montana. That is the. But I teach a standalone entrepreneur class. It's all game based. We don't do that so much. It's really, I don't know. This entrepreneurship class it's all game based. We play games, and then the whole concept just comes out of it, which is so powerful. And it's not my love. It's and then they have 7. They call them foundational values, like having integrity and giving back and being principled. And how all those pillars kind of add to a whole person. And anyway, it's really awesome. And they're signing teachers up now who are interested. Heidi Gunderson in Absorki is going to implement it in Absorki. So I can give you
Here, I'm just writing mine down for you.
information too, and then if they're interested, I'll pass that on to Jim. An email from Jim. They're so motivation. I haven't really tried to sign up. For 20 years, right.
Like in my coding assessment, I would give those out once we did the card. I know I can. I would like to use and then you log it and make this. Yes. Yes. So I mean, you have yes. Yes. Yeah. I did not do that this year. I didn't. No, I didn't. But I used to have my students. But I didn't have. She said, "You don't buy a ticket for a business." I'm not going to tell me we first are required to we didn't have that. But I ended up raising some classes. Because when you're
I'm for FCS. Lady retires next year. I'm not against FCS at all, but I'd rather do this. Something.
I've had kids.
And that's great. Thank you. All right, how are we doing? We ready to jump back there, Logan? Greg?
I am. Greg did step out for a second, but if there's any questions or things you need to bounce over to me, I should be able to answer to the best of my abilities.
All right, well, I'm looking at the schedule here. We've handed out, the next thing we're doing here is I'm handing out the startup guide and the troubleshooting guide. And I see Greg's coming back. I'm going to hand that out then, and we'll go ahead and get started with that since it's 23 after. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, let me get her handed out.
Yep. She retired. I've only been there. This was.
All right.
She has
Find it here. Hold on.
in her car. Because we walk her down. Yeah. And then she still comes to see the walk.
You know what? I'm not finding it. Let's see. Now, I don't think they printed it out. I am not sure. I may have to go print that out, guys. I thought I had that printed out. Hold on just a second. Let me go look in my office and see if I can find it.
Susan.
One of the first
Kids don't see Susan likes to do economics. Yeah. Set up. Kids like the business law. It's not her. She's great. Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's okay. It is so helpful. My kids now they just all the same. Amazing. And now they're going to take it. So if you get any teacher at school or building, you do it like this. I don't know. My dad. I tried my best last year.
Hey, Logan. Logan.
Yeah.
The startup, I'm not finding them for some reason. The cybersecurity startup, where we take them through the install of VBox,
Yeah.
that's not on the thumb drive.
It should be within the software.
Let me check.
Yep.
Can you call me on my cell phone or be on your phone for just a second?
Okay.
This is a long one.
It should be on the thumb drive. It's come up before. Oh, amazing.
That's kind of my first day introduced to the class. Thank goodness. I'm out of line.
She was. you just do the gas Wi-Fi?
Yes.
You know, sometimes you get on those and you're like, why am I even on here? It doesn't work at all.
It seems to be okay.
So we.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, I feel the hyperreach in here. Instructor manual thinks you might help do it.
yeah.
Well, those. Right.
Okay. Well, so here's where we stand. Those ones didn't get printed off. So those ones didn't get printed off. So why don't we, Logan, I'm printing them now, so I'll hand them out as they get printed out. But why don't you go ahead and get started? Lead them through the startup process. They can lockstep with you, and then I'll give them the instructions. So just know that they don't have their paper in front of them yet.
Well, they don't need it quite yet. So he's got to walk them through the instructor manual first.
Yes, that's what I'm printing off for them right now.
Oh, I thought you didn't have the setup guide.
Yeah, nope. I've got all the labs that we're doing. I need them. Go ahead, Logan, and start on the startup install.
Okay, hold on. Do you
Yes.
have the instructor manual printed off, or do you also have the setup install guide printed off?
They have the instructor manual, but they do not have the setup and install guide, which is what I'm printing off right now.
Okay, perfect. So he can start with, because per the agenda, we need to start with the instructor manual anyway, so that'll give you some time.
Yep, go ahead.